Hi, welcome to Theme Park TidBit, the YouTube show designed to share information about your favorite theme parks, attractions, and canceled projects. In this episode, we're going to discuss our first viewer requested video, EPCOT. You may not know this about EPCOT, but it was actually one of Walt Disney's very last concepts he ever worked on before his unfortunate passing in 1966. Now, you may be thinking that EPCOT is just a random word that someone came up with. In fact, it stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
Spelled E.P.C.O.T. Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
Walt Disney came up with the concept of EPCOT as he became ever more concerned about the world his children and grandchildren would live in. He believed the then modern cities were hectic, disorganized, as well as being dirty and full of crime. This led to one of the most forward-thinking projects he had ever created. EPCOT was set to be massive, and with such a big project you need a lot of land to build it on. Enter the Florida project. Now, we won't go into a lot of detail in this video, but basically, Walt Disney wanted a lot of land that he could build EPCOT on, and for a fair price. So he used a bunch of dummy companies to buy land and then put them all together for Disney World. Now that he had the land for his project, he began designing. Now, originally EPCOT was not designed to become a theme park at all. Instead, EPCOT was to be a fully functioning community where people would live and work, much like a city. This included a short presentation where Disney showcased EPCOT's first design and how it would work. Now, he made this presentation to entice big corporations into becoming a part of this community and to help further develop the idea of EPCOT. One of the core principles of the original EPCOT concept was the idea of constantly improving and innovating. Walt was obsessed with constantly improving or creating new technologies, whether this came with his animatronics or his original idea of Disneyland. He was always looking forward, and his EPCOT project was a reflection of that. Disney had what he called a master plan, where he would make full use of guests coming into Disney World. This meant that on the original monorail route, guests were actually to arrive at the Airport of Tomorrow, go through the Welcome Center before traveling through two separate parts of EPCOT. First, the Industrial Park. This is where these big corporations would have their EPCOT offices and buildings for people to see and even visit. The next stop would take the guests to EPCOT City. This is where guests would see the innovations developed by the big companies from the Industrial Park, and Disney hoped this would motivate guests once back home to get these new technologies implemented in their own communities throughout the world. The final stop on the monorail route would be the Magic Kingdom. An interesting extra tidbit, Walt Disney did not want to build the Magic Kingdom. He instead wanted to focus on EPCOT and the other original ideas and not just create a bigger Disneyland than the one already in California.
The most exciting, the most important part of our Florida project, in fact, the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World, will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow.
But after pressure from the board of directors for this project to be a success, Disney gave in and agreed to build it. So with this incredible idea and the backing of Walt himself, why did it never happen? Well, after Walt's death, the company decided to shelf the idea as it was too risky an investment and instead focus on completing the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom opened and was dedicated to Walt in October 1st, 1971. For the next coming years, the company enjoyed the success of Walt Disney World. And in the late 1970s, CEO Esmond Walker finally gave the green light on the next park inside Disney World, the EPCOT Center. This would be in the memory of Walt's original idea, but ultimately would be a theme park. The original plans for the park showed the indecision the Imagineers were having. Some believed the park should be showcasing the very cutting edge in technology, while others wanted the new park to showcase international cultures and traditions. Then, one day, the model of the futuristic park and the model of the international culture park were pushed together and created the EPCOT we know today. The park took 3 years to construct and is more than twice the size of the Magic Kingdom. It reportedly cost between $800 million to $1.4 billion and at the time was the largest construction project in the world. Ultimately, we ended up with the two areas. One named Future World, which has a variety of pavilions that explore innovations in technology and science, with each pavilion having its own attraction. Future World also serves as the park's entrance and has the park's iconic landmark, Spaceship Earth's geosphere. The other area of the park was named World Showcase, and is very much an imitation of the World's Fair. Like Future World, it contains pavilions, but each pavilion at the World Showcase is dedicated to representing a single country. World Showcase opened with 9 pavilions, representing Japan, France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, China, Germany, Italy, and of course, the United States of America. 2 pavilions were later added in 1984 and 1988, with Morocco and Norway bringing the total countries featured to 11. To maintain the authenticity of the countries, each pavilion is primarily staffed by citizens of that country as part of Disney's cultural representative program, and most areas offer food that is common in that country. Some of the pavilions even contain rides, live entertainment, or shows, again in line with the culture of that country. Throughout the years since EPCOT opened, many countries have been rumored for the World Showcase, but so far none have went past planning stages, and there are currently 9 undeveloped spots for countries around World Showcase. As the years went on, some parts of EPCOT were starting to show their age, specifically in the Future World area. This is because these pavilions typically relied on corporate sponsorship to pay for upkeep and maintenance, so as sponsors disappeared, rides were changed or shut down. Now to the future of EPCOT. In November 2016 at D23 in Anaheim, it was announced that EPCOT would be receiving a major transformation that would help transition the park to being more Disney, timeless, relevant, and family friendly while keeping the original vision alive. This also came with the announcement of new attractions. One in the France Pavilion, which is going to be a replica of the Ratatouille ride at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris, alongside a new ride at Future World, based upon the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, and will replace the Universe of Energy Pavilion. Not too many details have been shared about the ride, but at the D23 in Japan in 2018, it was confirmed that the ride would be one of the world's longest roller coasters and would open in 2021. Well, that does it for this episode of Theme Park Tidbit. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. I want to thank you for the suggestion for this episode, and please leave comments down below on future video ideas or anything at all to do with EPCOT. And I hope to see you in the next episode.